South Africa last played the World Cup in 2010. They were the hosts. The whole world came to them and it was electric. The vuvuzelas, the color, the joy, Shakira's Waka Waka. The whole world fell in love with South Africa that summer. Then silence. For 16 years, they didn't qualify until now. When African players stand on the world stage, they're not just standing there alone. Behind them are the mothers cooking pots of beans, grandmothers drying grains, aunties pounding yams, farmers growing sorghum, fishermen bringing in fish, and communities feeding children from the foods around them. And in this video, we are going to discuss the foods that help raise generations of strong, active, resilient bodies that perform on the world stage. I'm Kudza Msengi and I'm not a doctor. I'm somebody who loves to learn, and I've spent the last 10 years sharing what I learn about African foods to help other people live healthier lives. Now let's get into it. Let's start with Nelson Mandela's favorite dish, Umngqusho, samp and beans. This is a Xhosa staple across the Eastern Cape, traditionally cooked for hours and shared family style, and it is still central to celebrations and gatherings today. Samp is dried, cracked corn kernels, so very minimally processed whole food. It's combined with sugar beans and slow cooked with spices and other vegetables until it is creamy. It is a meal of extraordinary nutritional depth. Samp provides the slow-burning, complex carbohydrates, while the beans provide the complete plant protein and iron. Together, these two foods supply all the amino acids that your body needs to build and repair muscle. Umngqusho contains two minerals that the sports industry charges a premium for, and they are sitting right inside this humble pot of beans. That is magnesium and zinc. Both magnesium and zinc each participate in over 300 enzyme reactions, which tells you something about how foundational they are. Magnesium is stored in your bones and your muscles, and a deficiency can impair muscle function and reduce your endurance. The problem from any footballer is that they lose magnesium through sweat, through urine, through high-intensity training. So they often require significantly higher daily intake to the general population so they can maintain their energy and prevent cramps and also support their recovery. When magnesium levels drop, calcium becomes more dominant in the muscle, causing it to contract. That is what a cramp is. Magnesium is the mineral that tells your muscle to let go. Magnesium also activates the calming neurotransmitter GABA, and it promotes the deep sleep where muscle repair actually happens. Now, zinc is used in protein synthesis, hormone balance, and muscle recovery after exercise. It directly regulates testosterone, which drives muscle building, endurance, and the body's ability to recover from a physical workout. And critically, zinc is not stored in the body. You must eat it every day. Now here's what I find powerful about this. The global sports supplement market sells magnesium and zinc together in a product called ZMA. This is sold to athletes as part of their recovery stack. It is marketed as a performance tool, and that's exactly what it is. But South African families have been cooking magnesium and zinc together in a simple pot of Umngqusho for generations. And because this meal is low glycemic, high fiber, and high iron, Umngqusho does not spike your blood sugar. This is a food that keeps your energy steady, it supports your gut health, and it rebuilds muscle. It fuels you evenly for hours. So for an athlete or anyone working physically, this is exactly the kind of fuel that you need, and the Xhosa people of the Eastern Cape have been on the money on this one. Food number 2 is Morogo, or African spinach. Now this is a vegetable that grows wild across South Africa and is eaten as a daily staple by millions of households. It is also known as imifino in isiZulu and has the protein content that would shock most nutritionists. Morogo refers to a group of dark leafy greens, most commonly amaranth, harvested and eaten across southern Africa for thousands of years. You find them in rural gardens or growing on the edges of fields. Many communities, women and children gather them from the land as part of daily food preparation. Its protein content can be as much as 36%. For a plant, a leafy green at that is higher than most legumes. In communities where meat is expensive or scarce, Morogo has provided complete nutrition for generations. It's the reason why children in South Africa have grown up strong on a predominantly plant-based diet. Morogo is rich in vitamins A, C, as well as iron, calcium, and magnesium. Vitamin A affects muscle repair, mitochondrial function, protein synthesis, as well as sports recovery. It aids in the formation of healthy tissues and improves oxygen access throughout the body. It is also a potent antioxidant that helps neutralize free radicals generated by oxidative stress during intense physical training. On the football pitch in the African heat, that oxidative stress is significant. Vitamin A is part of what the body uses to manage it. Vitamin C does two jobs that are non-negotiable for an athlete. First, vitamin C supports collagen synthesis, the primary structural protein in your tendons, the ligaments, the muscle tissue. Athletes with higher vitamin C levels experience faster tissue repair and reduced muscle soreness. Every sprint, every tackle, every 90-minute match is stress on your connective tissues. Vitamin C is what helps to keep their bodies resilient. Second, vitamin C improves iron absorption, which is crucial for proper oxygenation of tissues. Morogo also has iron, which we will discuss next, but this is the genius of eating whole foods. Vitamin C and iron are in the same leaf, working in perfect synergy with each other. Morogo has iron, which is an essential component of hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is the protein that's responsible for carrying oxygen to the muscles and the tissues. When iron levels are low, the body's ability to transport oxygen is compromised. This results in reduced energy production and fatigue. For a footballer, this would mean heavy legs, shortness of breath, and a slower recovery between matches. Iron deficiency impairs athletic performance through increased susceptibility to infections. When most people hear calcium, they think bones. And yes, bone density matters enormously for an athlete who's landing, colliding, and absorbing impact constantly. But calcium is also the mineral that triggers muscle contraction. Every single stride a footballer takes begins with a calcium signal. Calcium and magnesium work together for muscle function. Calcium for contraction and magnesium for relaxation. And together they reduce cramps and enhance stamina. Morogo also has magnesium, which we already discussed in the samp and beans section of this video. But because Morogo is eaten alongside with samp and beans, this combination keeps stacking that magnesium load that the body constantly burns through training. If you're finding this information useful, please consider subscribing so we can grow and learn together. If there is a grain that defines traditional South African nutrition, it is sorghum. Sorghum is having a global renaissance in the food science, but African communities have actually never stopped eating it. Before maize became the dominant staple, which only happened in the last few hundred years following colonization and trade, sorghum was what fed Southern Africa. It's an ancient grain, it's drought resistant, and it's deeply nutritious. In Setswana, it's called ting. In Zulu, it's called amabele. Ting is a soft porridge made from fermented sorghum. The fermentation process is what happens naturally when the grain is soaked. It's not just about the flavor, it actually breaks down the grain's anti-nutrients, making the minerals more bioavailable. It introduces beneficial bacteria, natural probiotics into the food. This is traditional food science. Approximately 70% of your immune system is located in the gut, and specific probiotic strains of bacteria have been shown to reduce the number, severity, and the duration of upper respiratory tract infections in athletes. Long before anybody coined the term probiotic, African communities were fermenting their sorghum, and they were boosting their immune systems and preserving their gut health through food. For an athlete, sorghum is rich in thiamine, which is your vitamin B1, vitamin B2, vitamin B3, 5, 6, and folate. All these B vitamins play a crucial role in energy metabolism, red blood cell formation, and brain function. Now here's what each of these vitamins actually does. Thiamine, which is vitamin B1, is the vitamin that unlocks the carbohydrates as fuel. When a footballer eats a bowl of sorghum porridge before a game, thiamine is the mechanism that converts those complex carbohydrates into usable energy inside the cell. Riboflavin, which is vitamin B2, sits at the center of cellular energy production, specifically inside the mitochondria, where it helps to drive the reactions that generate ATP. ATP is the primary energy currency molecule of all living cells. Vitamin B2 also plays a role in recovery by supporting tissue repair after exercise. Niacin is the B vitamin that's most directly linked to endurance. It is linked to the molecule that drives the energy transfer in every working muscle cell. A serving of sorghum can provide you with 28% of your daily recommended niacin intake. Moving on to iron and phosphorus. We already know from the Morogo section what iron does. It is the mineral that puts oxygen into the bloodstream and delivers it to every working muscle for every sprint, every tackle, and every dribble. Phosphorus gets less attention, but it makes up 16% of sorghum's mineral composition, and it is a vital source for growth, maintenance, metabolic function. It is also the mineral that forms ATP, which is the basic unit of energy inside your cells. No phosphorus, no ATP, no movement. Now we move on to antioxidants, and this is where sorghum becomes genuinely remarkable. Certain varieties of sorghum bran contain polyphenolic compounds at levels ranging between 23 to 62 milligrams per gram. That is higher than the more popular foods like blueberries and pomegranates. Your body makes its own antioxidant enzymes like glutathione to fight damage caused by exercise. Glutathione is a powerful, naturally occurring antioxidant that is primarily made in your liver. So sorghum's polyphenols don't just act as external antioxidants themselves, they actually switch on your body's own antioxidant defense system. Think of sorghum telling your body to make more of its own protection. A lot of people buy glutathione because they want the antioxidant support, but African foods like sorghum already do something similar in your diet. Sorghum is not glutathione in food form, but sorghum supports the body's antioxidant defense system, which is the same broad area that people are trying to support when they buy glutathione. Science is literally catching up to the food practices that African communities have followed for centuries. In the global wellness space, fermented foods are having a massive moment. Kimchi, kefir, kombucha, they are everywhere. Every health influencer is talking about the gut microbiome. But Africa has been doing this for thousands of years. And in South Africa, it is called Amasi. Amasi is fermented milk. It is a similar texture to thick yogurt or cottage cheese, but with a flavor that is distinctly its own. It is used across Zulu, Xhosa, and Soto communities. It is eaten with pap or drunk as a beverage. It is made by allowing raw milk to ferment naturally, traditionally in a calabash gourd that is never washed. So each new batch is inoculated by the living cultures from the last. This is a living food. The fermentation produces lactic acid bacteria, the same family of organisms in commercial probiotics. These actively support digestive health, immune function, and the gut lining. For generations, Amasi has been given to children as a daily food. When it is served with pap, it creates a complete meal that combines carbohydrates with fermented protein and fat. The fermenting bacteria in Amasi produce B vitamins during the fermentation process. This adds to the nutritional profile beyond what raw milk contains. We talked about B vitamins in the previous section where we talked about sorghum. And for people with lactose intolerance, the lactic acid bacteria also reduces the lactose. So this makes Amasi generally safe for most people to eat. Amasi provides a good quality protein for muscle growth, but for an athlete, fermented milk protein is highly bioavailable. This means the body absorbs and uses it more efficiently. Combined with a carbohydrate like pap, it creates a recovery meal that starts rebuilding muscle. And there is the additional benefit from fermentation. Specifically, research has shown that drinking fermented milk significantly suppressed muscle soreness after resistance exercise. And then there's calcium. A single glass of Amasi provides around a third of your daily calcium requirements. Most people hear calcium and think bones, and bone density absolutely matters for an athlete who's absorbing that constant impact. But calcium is also the mineral that initiates every muscle contraction. Calcium is especially important for athletes because they're more likely to lose calcium through sweating, Without enough calcium, they may experience muscle cramps, and calcium plays a key role in glycogen metabolism. Glycogen is the stored fuel the body draws on and is extremely critical for endurance. A single glass of Amasi provides a quarter of your daily potassium needs. This is important for blood pressure regulation and heart health. Potassium is one of the most important electrolytes for any footballer because it is heavily lost through sweat. Eating Amasi helps to replenish it naturally. Potassium works closely with sodium to maintain cellular function and is vital for heart health, muscle contractions, and nerve impulses. Adequate potassium levels are necessary to sustain prolonged physical exertion without fatigue. When potassium drops, you can feel it: weak muscles, fatigue, and in severe cases, irregular heartbeats. Amasi also has magnesium, and we have spoken about magnesium twice already in Umngqusho and in Morogo. It keeps appearing because the body constantly burns through it, and many African meals are stacking magnesium from multiple sources simultaneously. That is what a complete food system looks like. Amasi is rich in iron, and as we know, iron's role is to deliver oxygen to the muscles. And it is worth noting here that Amasi delivers iron alongside with vitamin A, which also supports oxygen access and creates a small but meaningful synergy within a single food. Vitamin E is also important for athletes because it is a whole body maintenance vitamin. It protects the structures that everything else depends on: the cell membranes, the blood vessels, the nerves, the immune cells. Getting it from a food like Amasi, where you get it alongside proper fat for absorption, is always more effective than in a capsule. Modern science now understands that live cultures in Amasi support the gut microbiome. This is the ecosystem that governs your digestion, your immunity, and your mental well-being. If you cannot access Amasi, look for a natural full-fat yogurt with live cultures as the closest alternative. But if you live in a community where Amasi is available, dig in, because this food is medicine. I want to end off this video by talking about something that's not just a food. It's actually a practice, a ritual. This is one of the most beautiful expressions of how South African culture understands nourishment. It's shisanyama. It's referring to the gathering around the fire, traditionally in a township setting, buying fresh meat from the local butcher and frying it together over hot coals. It is South Africa's barbecue, but here's what makes it unlike any other barbecue tradition everywhere. People from all walks of life come to shisanyama, whether you're the CEO of a successful company or a general worker. If there is one place that does not grade you on who you are in the outside world, it is a shisanyama. That is Ubuntu in action. I am because you are. Shisanyama is a social construct. You come together, you eat together, you share, and the fire is in the center. It creates belonging. From a wellness perspective, communal eating matters profoundly. Research consistently shows that people who eat together, who share meals in community, have better digestion, lower stress hormones, and stronger social bonds, and they also live longer lives. The act of gathering around food is itself a medicine. For athletes, that is especially significant. Cortisol is a catabolic hormone. It breaks down muscle, it disrupts sleep, and it impairs recovery. This is the very thing that intense training elevates. Eating in community actively brings this down. Shisanyama after a hard week of training is not just a meal, it's actually a physiological recovery tool. South African culture has always known this. Food is not just fuel. Food is relationship. Food is identity. Food is the place where the community is built. So when the world watches South Africa play, they will see athletes, they will see tactics, they will see speed and skill and passion. But I want you to see something else. I want you to see the food behind the athlete. This video has been about the food culture that built those bodies. It is extraordinarily powerful. To Bafana Bafana, the whole continent is behind Shushaluza. I want to hear from you. Which of these foods did you grow up eating? If you've enjoyed this video, I think you'll enjoy this next one coming up on your screen. Thanks for your attention, and I'll see you over there.